Well, thanks, Todd. You've heard a bit about community foundations and our affiliation with the St. Croix Valley Foundation. Like most organizations today, there are financial aspects of a community foundation. Simply put, they take money in, they manage money, and they award grants to very specific, in some cases, projects and things within the community that benefit that community. A good example would be the Hudson Community Fund. We have a representative in the back of the room today, but that fund started about 10 years ago and has grown to somewhere around $1.5 million. Most of those funds are in what are called a restricted category, donor-advised funds. And over the period of those 10 years, they've given away about $700,000 to specific projects within that Hudson community. There's another part of that fund that is called memorial funds and scholarships that honor deceased members of that community. There's another category which is called unrestricted funds. And in the case of Hudson, in that community fund, it's about $200,000, and over that period of time, they've given away approximately $120,000. An example of this thing called a restricted fund would be where a donor sets up an endowment, and the initial principal stays in place, or what's called corpus, and then the earnings generated from that principal then are given out in grants that are advised by the donor and delivered actually by the foundations. There is a $10,000 minimum requirement for that, but there's a subset called an Acorn Fund that you can actually start with as little as $1,000 and contribute to that over time, and it builds up to the $10,000, and then you have the donor advised fund. There are, of course, other ways to donate to these various foundations that don't require commitments of $1,000 or $10,000 to as little as $100 in this area called unrestricted funds. So it doesn't necessarily mean you have to have a lot of money to invest in these programs. Another important point I almost forgot is that all of these donations are tax deductible in the year that you contribute them. Todd mentioned the Lower St. Croix Valley Fund, which is what this whole meeting is about today. Well, within the total funds there's about $100,000. Approximately 60 of that is in the restricted category of endowments, and the other 40,000 is in the unrestricted area. And our goal over time is to grow both of those. And if we're going to be successful as a charitable organization in the Lower St. Croix Valley, we are going to have to grow that endowment over a period of time if we're going to benefit the generations to come. The neat thing about this community foundation, as Todd described it, is that everyone in the community can be a philanthropist. You know, it's a kind of a unique approach that we're taking, but each one of the committees, for example, that people belong on have philanthropical kinds of activities that they can participate in. One example would be if you have a specific project within a committee, you might end up fundraising for that particular committee. And again, participating in this whole thing called philanthropy without necessarily donating a whole lot of money to it. I would like to talk just a little bit about, we know that the economy has been challenging not only for charitable organizations like foundations, but it's also challenging for people within the lower St. Croix Valley area. And again, the advantage of the kind of foundation that Todd described is really one where through these various committees and these various projects, people can actually participate and have a number of philanthropic activities that they can participate in to benefit the community. Just as a closing statement, I'd like to say that a community organization like this is one that hopefully, if we grow the thing, will benefit the community into the future for generations to come. And I'd just like to remind everyone that, you know, from small streams do mighty rivers flow. With that, Todd?